What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin Wellness, presented by South Florida Wellness Network. Man, we're back with another. What's this series called? Why
My Story.
Thank you. My Story Matters. Why did I forget the name? Anyways, my name is Christian.
It's your boy Michael. How we doing, guys?
And today we brought somebody very special. I don't want to reveal. I want her to share who she is. So please share your name and what you do here at the organization.
Well, my name is Chloe Campbell. I am a wellness coach here. My title recently got changed to Recovery Navigator for Youth. So that's what I do here.
Heck yeah. So she is, I don't want to like put your story out there too much, but like she's new here at the office and we've gotten to talk a little bit, and then she's been very friendly with everybody here at the office, but we've kind of gotten to meet her a little bit, and she has a really interesting story to share about her life and her recovery journey. And we're going to get all in that. But there's one thing that I need to mention that is kind of like the elephant in the room. As a matter of fact, I have a sneaking suspicion that there's going to be some people out there who are going to click on this episode because they saw your face. And for those who don't know, we have a TikTok famous person here. Yeah, we do. We're not trying to make you feel uncomfortable, but it is pretty cool to have you here. We've heard the stories here at the office. You've been recognized before. We heard our producer back there. He told us that you guys have been out in the city doing outreach, and you've been recognized in the street. So how does that feel to for that to happen? Like, I've always wanted.
It makes me nervous initially because like yesterday, me and one of our coworkers, Dory, we went to Publix to get lunch. And like while I'm walking, somebody stops me. They're like, they stick their tongue out, and I'm like, and they're like, you look less, because that's my thing. If you know me, that's my thing. That's the thing I do on social media when I talk.
Yeah.
And she's like, you look less intimidating in person, and she just walked off. I'm like, what the heck? Like, you're not even gonna say hi.
Less intimidating. That's such a weird thing to say. My God.
Like, what the hell?
It's good, I guess.
I'm like,
I mean,
or bad. Is that good? Or
I don't
bad?
know. Is that good? What do you think? Is that?
I think it.
Is your persona supposed to be an intimidating person?
Online, no. Like, in my bio on TikTok, it literally says, and I quote, I literally just be talking, y'all. Like,
Okay.
I don't want
That's
to
funny.
do
My Twitter
anything.
bio is the same. It's like, don't take anything I say serious. I'm here for the LOLs.
There you
So it's
go.
like the same thing. I'm just here to talk crap.
My entire TikTok persona is based off like Vince Staples. I think Vince Staples is the
Ah.
funniest person in the world.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
Okay, I
You
see
listen to his
what you're
music and stuff too? Yeah, he's cool.
That's what's up. So I actually looked at some of your videos. It's funny stuff. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like we John Carlos and we were looking at them over here, and then
Extremely
we could not
relatable.
stop laughing.
Yeah.
It's like exactly.
That's what the
Extremely-
content is. It's you know, there's people like us that will go and try to make podcasts and these whole big things and do a whole production about it. And you know, it's hard to get views. And there's people like you that are extremely relatable. They'll just record something on their phone, and people are like, "Yes, this is exactly how I feel. This is hilarious." And they send this to 20 of my friends, and that's a freaking gift. And I know. I could tell by your personality that you hate being told like,
I do,
you're
but I
the
don't.
TikTok, you're on. I could tell. It's like your side little like
hustle or
hidden
like,
personality kind of thing.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You know,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
kind of like her hidden personality. So I understand that fully. But I want to give you your credit. It's awesome.
That's awesome.
Super hard to do to like get attention from so many people and continue to have their attention and have them follow you to get more videos for their attention. It's hard to do.
That was my initial goal, is to just be relatable.
Yeah.
My whole content is about just being relatable. I don't want to be known as like a person that did something controversial or talk about something controversial.
Is there anyone you wanted to like specifically be relatable to, or just
in general?
Mainly the youth, like young adults like me.
got you?
Life is hard, especially for
Oh, yeah.
people like me. We get held to like certain standards online. Like, you're 23, you're 24, you're 25 even. You should have your own apartment, your own place. Why don't you have a BMW? Like, stuff that's unrealistic.
Yeah.
And
Right.
here I am. I'm telling you, I literally just got scammed by DoorDash. That was my last piece of change. Like, I don't.
But I was looking. My favorite one is the one where you're like moving your head side to side. Is like it's the friend cutting the well done steak.
Oh my god.
It was such a funny thing because immediately it burst here in the studio before we started recording. It just burst into a conversation like what kind of steak?
And
you
it
ate is
shows
like,
how relatable that is right
That's
away.
what I'm saying. Yeah,
It shows how relatable that. Oh, you like medium well? Nah, what is wrong with you?
Yeah,
And then the
you
other
got
people
it.
are like, of course.
That
You
has
like
to-
blood? It's like,
That'd be
Yeah.
my most controversial TikTok.
Yeah.
Ironically, like they're
So
like, oh my gosh, if you
9.2
want to eat the
million
cow still
on the
mooing,
first- on
then
the
you
most
can do that on
people.
your own
Wow.
time. I'm like,
Yeah.
5.2, 3 million, 3.4, 4, 3.6. There's a lot of millions here. And 345,000 subscribers with 22.1 million likes. So
Awesome.
that's obviously a big number, right? And obviously the goal is to keep growing, right? The goal is to keep achieving more, connecting with more people.
Yep.
But in this podcast, we like to focus on wellness, right? And there's a question that I've always wanted to ask somebody who has a large following like that. How do you feel your following in the TikTok fame, it affects your mental health and your wellness overall?
I literally got asked the same question in person by one of my moderators. I seen them in person, and they asked me the same thing, something similar to it. And I just told them, if you think about it, it's all about mindset. If you think about it as they're going to be mean to me, people are going to say mean things to me, you're going to have that mindset where you're just going to feel like crap. I mean, I don't feel like that. I feel like whatever I put out, whatever piece of content I put it out for me. I don't put it out for most people. I put it out for me and the people who can relate to me. If you don't relate to it, keep scrolling. I
Gotcha.
don't really pay attention to
I love that.
the negative or all the other stuff. People say mean things all
How
the
long
time.
did it take you to blow up on your content? Or was it like an instant kind of thing?
That's crazy. I started content making. I literally started that TikTok page March of this year.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
March of this year.
It just shows you how relatable you are. And it also shows you how, I think that content form of turn on the phone and tell you exactly how I'm feeling and,
tell
and
you a
post it
story.
and don't do anything else is really doing well right now because it's raw. It's more relatable.
Yeah.
And it shows someone's ability to not give a damn about what other people think. And that's a extremely hard thing to do in
Agreed.
today's society.
Agreed.
Because even me, I don't think I really care about what people think. I say a lot of things that are controversial, but at the same time, there's always in the back of my mind that subconscious thought of, I don't want people to not like me. I don't want people to not feel this certain way about me. So the fact that people like yourself can go on and make these types of content and to some people that's stupid or that's dumb or why are you making this content? They're the haters, you know, and you just ignore that and keep going, and it's just motivation, it's just fuel, and those people are always successful, you know. But it's hard to do that. There's not a lot of people that could do that, you know. It takes an insane amount of like mental fortitude, you know.
Mental fortitude and creativity. Because like
Yeah.
I think that's one of the challenges that we face, and a lot of times we have these people that want to become like TikTok famous, but they don't know what to do. They don't know where to start, and it's interesting to see, kind of like you were saying, like you can just grab a phone and just share a story, and immediately boom.
Without like that fear of rejection. Did you ever have that fear of rejection with your videos?
Of like not like blowing up or anything.
Yeah, or like let's say have you ever put in work into a video and you're like, oh, I hope it doesn't turn out, or I hope it gets views and it doesn't, and then you're like disappointed behind it?
So one of the first videos I made, yes, I wanted it to go viral, but it didn't. I want to say the third or fourth video. This was March, spring break. I made a video about, I don't know if you've seen it. It was ATL bubble baths.
Oh, I saw
first-
that. Yeah.
That was my first viral video. I woke up and I hit like 200K likes. I'm like, what
Wow.
the hell? Like, what is going on? When I made that video, I just got out the shower. My hair was wet. I didn't care what I looked like. I was just talking just to talk.
Which is
Because
cool.
I didn't care what was going on. So when I did that, my intention was not to go viral. It was just to go. I had like probably 2,000 followers at that time. I woke up, I had like 80,000. I was just talking to talk.
And who are your followers? Who are like the majority of your followers? Just random people?
The demos was
Yeah, like what are the demographics?
mainly
I'm just
people-
wondering.
mainly women, but like 30% men. 30% men.
Okay, that's a men.
Yeah.
That's a lot of men. I mean, that just shows you, because like women get a bad rep a lot of the time with men, and I will say that like there are a lot of misogynistic takes in the world as far as like women aren't funny and different things like that. So the fact that 30% of your base right there are men following you just shows, bro, you're hilarious. They don't give a damn if you're a woman or whatever it is, you know.
One of my favorite creators, he's one of my favorite creators. His name is Bron So Funny on TikTok.
Okay.
He literally just posted last night his top 3 female TikTokers that he liked, that he finds funny. And I was number 2.
Yo, hit that
And I
button. Where's that button at?
was like,
Oh my God, that's
Yeah.
huge.
Hit that thing,
I was
bro.
really happy. So
That's
he-
sick. That's
Just from
awesome.
off his video, I woke up and I had probably 4,000 more followers just off that video. I was
Nice.
like, wow, that's pretty cool.
That's awesome. And you said that was like one of your favorite, that's your favorite comedian?
Yeah, so he does like reviews on sports and anything really, reality TV, anything. and I really like his
Like a
content.
commentary channel.
That's almost like that's cool because it shows you like, damn, maybe I'm getting there. I'm
It's
getting up there.
surprising. Like I would never think he was watching my content.
Yeah,
I would see
exactly.
him comment here and there. Had like a few people comment, like people I used to look up to on TikTok, comment here and there. I'm like, you're watching me? Like what the hell? You following me?
Your idols become your what is it? Your rivals or what is it? Your idols become your rivals kind of thing. So like that's kind of what you're doing. You're like, you know, people that you've looked up to now are becoming more peers. You know, and that's awesome. Cool. That's super in such a short time.
So
you know,
cool.
it's such a short time. But it shows you like she I think she has an insanely really good voice too. I think your voice is super good to hear and listen to. But you have like a great recipe for success right now, which is
you do.
Not giving a damn what people think. Posting frequently and consistently. Looks like you post frequently and consistently.
Yeah.
And then being relatable. Those are the main things when it comes to content, and you're killing it.
As long as you do your own thing, you have your own niche. I tell people, as long as you care about your content and you think it's good and you think it's better, just keep posting it. You don't have to do too much. You don't have
Did
to
you come
edit
with the background of I want to make content, I want to blow up, or you just said I'm just gonna make content because I enjoy making this?
I want to make content because I enjoy it.
That's the best way to do it.
Yeah, once you come with that mindset and not like I'm doing it for the money, I'm doing it for like to get noticed or to networking things. That's when you really start blowing up.
100%.
I always made fun, like full transparency moment. In 2020, I didn't even have TikTok. I hated TikTok. I hate the idea of it. I always tell people like, I don't want to be a TikToker. I don't want to dance on TikTok. I don't want to make content on TikTok. That's corny.
Do you still hate that idea of it? Even though you do it, do you still hate the idea of it? Because I make content and I still hate it.
That's interesting.
I honestly
like
still hate it. It's annoying, it's repetitive, it's dumb, but I understand the need to do it. You know?
It's annoying to a certain point where I'm getting unsolicited opinions on stuff I didn't ask for.
Okay.
Like, I don't care that you don't like your steak a certain way. I don't care that you're vegan. Literally do what you do.
Yeah.
And like, you know, I do enjoy it. I do fully enjoy it. I really do.
And do you think that's come with the level of success? Like, not success because I don't want to make it seem like you're where you want to be yet, but like the fact that you see it growing.
The fact that I see it growing, and some girl followed me. Her name is Tatiana. The main person I used to follow when I first got on TikTok. We're now mutuals. She gave me encouraging words to like just keep going and do what I have to do. Nice. So she really like motivated me to do that. Most people who I looked up to or just watch consistently on a daily basis, commenting on my TikToks and stuff, that really got me going. Like, oh, I really need to post more.
That's awesome.
So something that's really interesting about this opportunity that we have right here, right? Again, I'm very happy that you're here. But one of the reasons why I which granted, I feel that a lot of people that we follow on the internet, we don't get to hear their backstory a lot. We don't get to hear a lot of their past, due to the fact that either they're very guarded or they're not big enough to like somebody can get them. But the reason we brought you on this podcast, this is specifically why I wanted you to come on this podcast. It wasn't because you were TikTok famous. It wasn't because you had a large following. It wasn't even because if I'm going to be frank with you, like I knew who you were, but it didn't click to me that you were the person I saw on TikTok until today. Because I knew I had seen you before. I just couldn't picture it where until somebody who we had here in the studio told me, oh yeah, she's from TikTok. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've seen this video, right? So, but the reason I wanted you to come is because you have a very powerful story. You yourself do you consider yourself you're in recovery, right? So mental health, right? So you have a very amazing story from your childhood till today. And I really want us to dig deep into it because I feel that there's people out there who hopefully are going to see this and they might connect with you on an emotional level like that, more than just the comedy, right?
Yeah, that's the goal.
So,
yeah, tell us about Cece. Tell us about is that. I put that together myself. I didn't know if you ever had been called that.
My mom calls me that.
Oh, okay. Sorry if I stepped out.
No.
So, let's start with before, right? We here at Self-Little Wells at Work, we always see that there's before the moment you decided to change everything, the moment you decided to change everything, and the recovery process, right? So let's talk about the before. Maybe a little bit about your earlier days when you started
your upbringing, where you're from.
Yeah, where you're from, and then maybe getting a little bit into when you started noticing that things weren't 100% all right.
Well, born and raised in Broward County.
Yes.
It's almost 24 years. I was raised in Pompano mainly, with my father. Living with him was.
What school did you go to?
What school did I go to?
Because I went to Pompano Beach. I went to Pompano Beach Middle.
I went to Crystal Lake Middle.
Ah, okay.
That's
why.
Okay.
awful school, but
Yeah. They both were, to
like
be fair.
it was really like
That
was
area of
something.
school in general is
Oh my
not good.
God.
Deerfield, I mean,
Blanche Ely.
yeah, there's just not great schools
Oh
up
my
there.
God, that was terrible. But growing up, my father was very different. My dad, he had some mental health issues with like bipolar disorder and something else I don't remember. But he has like he can go 0 from like to 2,000 in like the course of like 2 minutes, and it was very like unstable. That's the word, very unstable. He was mentally, physically, like verbally abusive. It was just
To the whole family, to everybody.
yeah. Me and my sister, we don't have the same father, but she lived with us short term because my grandmother was going through some things mentally as well. So we stayed with my father for a little bit, and it was something. Like it was always something. It was just emotionally unstable as a whole. Terrible place to live. Terrible place to be. So
Can I ask you a question? And really, I just want to hear your opinion on this. It's a very popular comedian that I was on TikTok, and I can't remember his name, but he said this quote. He said, "Sometimes the best comedians are born out of the darkest places." And now that I hear that you have a large following, and then like we're looking at it, and you're very funny on the internet and stuff like that, do you agree with that statement, or do you think that statement is a little overplayed or over exaggerated? I guess
two things can be right at one time. I think it's over exaggerated, but no, it's overplayed. But it's definitely true. It's 100% true.
Yeah.
I think the funniest people have like the most darkest backgrounds ever. My background, I just learned to make jokes out of everything because I feel like everybody else made jokes out of it. So why can't I? That's something how I coped.
Exactly. You know? And I think that's exactly the word for it. I think they've developed that level of cope. And cope sounds bad sometimes now in the way we use it.
Right.
But that's what it is. You know, comedians have found that ability to cope with the differences in the things going on in their life with comedy, with, you know, satire, you know, so
Satire
they try to,
specifically.
so they try to get past those things through that form of medium. So I definitely agree that I think that's in like a lot of walks of life. I think the people that have been through the most adversity, whether it be in business, whether it be in a lot of different aspects, are typically the most successful people in general.
so. Going back into your early, your childhood and your upbringing, what was the moment, the point, the
Breaking point?
yeah, thank you so much. The breaking point when things started leaning towards a negative.
I want to say 2013. I was in the 8th grade. My dad, he was like, he was crazy, like just overall crazy. But I think he officially lost it when he went to prison.
Okay.
He went to prison for 4 years for sexual abuse on a minor.
Wow.
Yeah.
So automatically, that's like a big. I call it. I don't call them gut punches. I call them home run swings. I feel that a lot of the times, I don't like the idea of sometimes a dark experience can't be simplified by a punch. It's like a literal home run swing. So what was when you found out? Boom, this happened. This is why my father's going to jail. How did that affect you? What was the thoughts that kept rolling through your head?
It was more of like, even though my father was like crazy or whatever, I still like considered him my father. Me and my father were like best friends.
Right.
So it was more so of like a
Disappointment,
deceiving. Like you betrayed me. Why would you do that? Now I can't. I'm forced to
Now I
not look
can't
at
see
you in the
you.
same light.
Yeah.
I can't look at you in the same light. And it was just a lot. It was a lot back then. And I was just 13. Like I didn't understand any of it, you know. And people were around that time. My family on his side was holding me to this standard. Like if you knew he did this, why do you still want to be around him? If you knew this is how he is, or this is what he did, why do you choose to still be around him? And honestly, I couldn't answer it because I felt like that was still my dad. I mean, I don't.
Interesting.
That was crazy.
Yeah, and that's very realistic too. I think we as a society we blame people that stick around with family after they do stuff, but it's family.
I mean, we talked about it on that episode with Kayla, and she had mentioned how she had like boyfriends and how she had unconditional love.
Oh
And
yeah,
her story.
Her story.
And I'd
yeah.
said I don't think people can have unconditional love other than for their family. And that's a great testament of that
your
right
story.
there. Your it was my story
It was
actually.
your story.
Where you say your dad, he didn't really give you all the reasons in the world to love him and be the best dad, but you still loved him. But it's because it's unconditional love. It's just how it is when you have family members. When it's your mother, your dad, your sister, your brother, your auntie, your grandma, you're gonna love them regardless of how many wrongs they do to you. You may have a different relationship, but you're not gonna not love them or not care for them or not want good for them.
It's interesting that you mentioned that because recently, I know we try our best not to get too like Christian and too religious because I understand there's a lot of people who listen who might not like enjoy that conversation. But there's a reason why I'm going to bring this up. So recently, I've been studying a lot of the Greek word meaning for love. Right. And if you look at the Greek meaning for love, there's 4 different definitions that you can find. There's more, but there's 4 main ones, especially that you can see portrayed in the Bible. And one specifically that 2 of them that I found ultimately super interesting is phileo, which is where the word Philadelphia comes from. It comes from the word phileo, which is brother, like loving your brother. And I remember I was reading this specific verse, trying to study these words, and there was a verse that said, I want you guys to, and I was looking at the translation, I want you guys to love each other like brothers. But the writer connected a second word, a stronger word for love, storge, which is family. So the author was saying in that verse, I don't want you to just love him as a brother, as a friend, as a close friend, as a family member.
Yeah.
So I agree with that statement that you said because at least in my life, I've noticed, especially recently when I got married and now that I've had to like start this new life with my wife, I've been feeling that feeling of family love a lot stronger, more than ever 100%. In my entire life.
Yeah.
Like
it's like an obligatory love. It's like you're almost
it's like an unintentional
you have to love them,
obligatory love, which is strange.
Yes, yeah. And unconscious.
It's unconscious. You can't tell. So, and this is not the only stories. I've heard countless stories of people sharing the same thing where they're like, my dad murdered that person, but it's my dad. I'm going to visit him in jail and talk to him.
Think of all the people.
I love him.
Did you guys hear about that one girl that like, she got like taken from her boyfriend and abducted last year, like on a road trip. And then the parents like knew about it and they didn't say anything to the cops and like they were hiding the son in the house. And it's like one of those situations where it's obviously the bad thing to do. It's wrong. You're hiding a fugitive that probably killed a girl, but it just shows you how strong families are. Or look at mafia. There's so many examples of where family, look at nepotism. There's literally laws for nepotism based off the fact of you can't use your family to get you in higher positions. There's the Cowboys, the whole entire like executive the Cowboys, the ownership,
the football team
are all owned by the family of the owner of the Cowboys is the family. So it's the owner, it's the dad, the second executive's the son, the third executive's the daughter. So like going down to like 10 positions, it's all his kids.
Really?
And that's nepotism, that's illegal, but it just shows you how big family is. And in the Bible, if you look in the Bible, family and love are 2 of the most mentioned words by far. I think it's up there with faith. There's like the most mentioned words in the Bible by far, and it's for a reason. If you keep your family and you keep love in your life and you keep them strong, you can go so far.
Yeah. So coming back to your story, I understand that, right? And it's not about agreeing or disagreeing. It's about understanding. Yeah, you love your dad, of course, but your father was arrested. You're struggling with his feelings. I'm assuming your family's like very vocal about you, like you mentioned. What happened afterwards?
That's when I went back into the system. I was initially in the system at 11, went with my dad, and then I went back into the system after he got arrested. Yeah. So it's like a blur. Like I literally put his shit like all the way to the back of my head. I don't remember. Yeah. But I went with a foster home eventually. I landed in Kendall, Florida. It was either that or Orlando. I'm like, I'm not going to Orlando. I don't know anybody in Orlando. Okay. So I landed in Kendall, Florida. I was there with my foster dad, Chadwick, and my foster mom, Jeannie. Probably the best placement I've ever been in foster care. Really, really nice placement. They were like the sweetest people in the world.
I love to hear that, man.
I didn't want to go there initially because they had a dog, and I'm like terrified of dogs. Like I don't like dogs. I'm so scared. And then They're like, well, if you don't want to be here, you don't have to be
How
here.
did your placement process go? Like, did you get to like see the family and meet them and do all that stuff beforehand?
Like meet them before?
Yeah, and like how was the like how was because I was in foster homes for a very brief part of my life when my mom was going through her stuff, so I remember it, but it was so quick for me. Like I was in and out because my brother's dad, when my brother was in prison, he actually took me in, so I was like being fathered by my brother's dad that I didn't even really know. So it was like that relationship. It was like a foster home, but with someone I knew. So it was different. It was interesting.
Mine was more like a quick drop off. Like literally, hey, they told me about the family over the phone, and I'm like, do you want it or not, or it's gonna go to the next person? I'm like, I don't have a choice, so sure. Went there on a Monday, bags were packed, and I was at the door, and they were like, you can come in. We're about to have dinner. I mean, they were sweet. I had probably 5 other people living in the house with me, but it was so nice.
Children.
Like, it was
Like
children,
young children?
Yeah, children.
So
I
happy
think the
to
oldest
hear
was
that,
like
man.
probably 17, 16, but it was like so nice.
It's
I
so
really
interesting when you with foster homes because like they have bad reps. You hear
So
bad
much
reps.
bad
You hear good
rep.
reps, and for good reason. There are bad people out there that are taking
Agreed.
advantage
Yeah.
of children. You
Yeah.
know, and I've literally met a person I went to high school with, and he told me he's like, yo, I was in a foster home back when I was younger, and literally they had us working when we were younger and had us doing stuff like free labor.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. You hear that stuff in like movies and stuff. You think it's bull crap, and you think it's not bull crap, but you think it's very few in between.
Yeah.
But it's a lot more common and stuff than you think. And when Daniela brought up the sex trafficking stuff, that stuff's a lot more common than we think. There's so many things that are way more common in like all these movies and films that they portray that we think don't happen, that happen a lot.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Sadly, I agree. Yeah.
It's insanely sad.
Yeah, I have
But-
a lot of friends in foster care where they didn't make it out, sadly. So it's definitely real. It's definitely real, especially with working in the field too.
Yeah. Well, that's why I wanted to highlight that because it's so nice to hear they had a positive experience, right? So many foster parents are there, like
And did you-
working so hard.
Did you continue with that family, or did you eventually move on? Sorry, I didn't.
I continued with that family until I turned 18.
Oh, okay, so that was your family. Okay, okay.
I continued with them until I'm 18, and then I eventually went to TIL housing, which is like aging out housing when you're 18. Then child net or flight, they'll give you your own apartment. But I'm still in contact with them to this day. They moved back to Kentucky,
that's
but
awesome.
I'm still in contact.
That's awesome.
That's
That's really
awesome.
cool. So let's curious enough. That was the inciting incident, if you will, right? So when did you first start thinking about mental health and working on your mental health? About what age and what time frame in your life?
Probably 16 when I
That's when you recognized you had stuff going on.
with my foster parents, the ones I was living with in Miami.
Gotcha.
They were very vocal. They always wanted to talk about any and everything that bothered me. And once I started to like break down what was truly bothering me and how I could fix it and things, they're like, we should see someone, we should
That's
talk
so
to someone.
awesome that
Yeah.
someone that is not really your parent is trying to, because it's hard. It's hard to try to like, especially at that age, try to get to the deepest part of you and your emotions and get to you and hear you out when you really have nothing conditionally like
Yeah.
Tying you down,
making you have to do that.
Yeah.
They're very patient people.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's
It's
the main
super-
thing you have to be with.
Yeah.
I tell everybody, like, if you plan on adopting kids, being a foster parent or anything, you have to have patience. I was a very isolated child after that incident. Like, I did not want to talk to anybody. I didn't talk for like a really long time.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of kids do,
Yeah.
know, because I think I was a very outgoing kid, and when because my dad left, I have my parents' situation, and I would see my dad every weekend, and when I was 7 or so, like we went to like meet up, and he wasn't there, and that was the last time I ever saw my dad. So like that was an extremely weird situation for me when I had to go through that. So it took me a second to get over that, and then a couple years back, like 2 years ago, he reached out to me on Facebook. And he's like, hey, I just got out of prison. Da 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 da. I've been in Costa Rica for the last 20 years. Da 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 da. He was like an extremely huge drug dealer. Yeah. So like now he wants to reach out to me and like start a relationship and like talk. And I'm just like, for me, I was like, I'm kind of doing my own life right now. If I want to begin a relationship with you, I'll reach back out to you when I feel the need to, and I just left it as that. So it's such a weird.
That's so strong of you,
super
though.
weird, bro.
Like, I respect you for doing that because not a lot of people do that.
It was weird. It was super weird. He sent me a bunch of pictures of him and like old pictures of me, and I was just like, as much as I wanted to be like, bro, fuck you,
Yeah.
And I just was like, whatever. So I showed my mom, like, I don't even know what to do with this, and he posted it on my Facebook wall, so like everything could be seen.
So everybody saw it.
Yeah. So I was like, bro, this is so awkward, but sorry to take away from your story. I just wanted to like stop, like say that too, because I like a lot of stuff you're saying. Like, although I don't ever want to put myself in your shoes because you've been through way harder time than I have with that stuff. I hear you out, and a lot of that stuff resonates with me as well. So it's interesting.
So adulthood happened. 18, living in that apartment. Did you continue working on your mental health throughout that period of time?
I was, but it felt forced. It felt like I was being forced. Once I turned 18, I had a therapist. I've had therapy since I was probably 11 or 12. I've had cognitive behavior therapy once I turned 18, and it was so like it was good. But my therapist, I salute him completely. But like it was like I don't want to do this. I have better things to do. I'm in college. Why do I need to focus on this right now?
Yeah.
And when I tell you, if I've never would have met him or never would have took time out, or he would have never been consistent, because he was knocking on my door like 6 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, go home. Like, where's your family? Go home. And he would stand there. It's like, I'm not leaving till you open the door. And if he would have never done that, I would have never been the person who I am today. He taught me a lot of things, like with coping and just hitting the nail on the problem, communicating, effectively communicating. That's the biggest thing for me. So he really helped me a lot.
So something that the audience doesn't know that I've found out is that you started working in that field, in the field of helping foster children. What inspired you to do that? What was like I got to do that?
The day of me applying to the group home I wanted to work at, I talked to my foster parents, the ones I was with in Miami. And I told them, like, hey, I really want to do this. You guys taught me, like, it's good people out there. So why can't I give back and be good as well?
Sure,
Pay it
with
forward kind of thing.
Yeah, pay it forward type of thing.
Yeah.
And a lot of group homes, I mean, I always advocate for it. I've been to FCC meetings. I've been to Tallahassee, Orlando, just voicing what the issue really is in South Florida specifically with the group homes, because it's not good.
What do you think is the biggest issues?
Kids are being taken advantage of because statistically proven we are more vulnerable. We are more gullible.
Like sexually,
emotionally,
labor
as a
wise,
whole.
just all
labor-wise,
levels
because
of
we're
exploitation.
We're searching for something that an average person can't give us. Only God can,
man.
and that's love.
That's such a great point.
Seriously, yeah.
That's such a great point, because we talk about like all like let's say we talk about single parent households, and we talk about that missing parent in their life.
Yeah.
Now you got two missing parents in that life. So there's a lot of cope. There's a lot of because I could tell you so many issues that I've developed and ran into my life because I haven't had a father to teach me a lot of things that I needed him for. And I can only imagine that for a woman, with their mom and their dad. So it's super interesting.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to think about this. That idea. It's not something I've ever really thought about.
Yeah, I literally, once I started working at the group home, I talk to my foster parents every time. I'm like, it's a problem here, it's a problem there. And they're like, well, if you keep talking about a problem with no action behind it, then you're just complaining as well. So
Facts
indeed.
What are you going to do?
Facts.
I ended up joining the youth council at Browns Harbor. I went to FCC meetings and I advocated for it. Like, this isn't right. It's no reason why a person that signed up to work at a group home should be talking to a minor in any form, sexually, emotionally, just taking advantage of them like that.
Yeah.
That's not okay. And I've seen it with my own eyes happen.
Which is wild.
Yeah, it is.
So what made you transition to this field of work that you're doing now?
South Florida Wellness?
Yeah.
My recent position I had before South Florida Wellness was a youth counselor specialist. I was traveling around different parts of Florida, just advocating, like I said before. This job specifically, I prayed on it. I prayed on it. I seen like 500 people apply for it. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to get this job. Even though I feel like my resume is pretty good and stuff with me traveling and advocating before, I was like, there's no way I'm going to get this job. Like, I don't think it's for me. I prayed for it, and I was like, if it's my will and it's a part of my journey of healing mentally and things like that, because that's the biggest thing I worry about. People sometimes tend to mix religion with mental health and not acknowledge both separately.
Absolutely.
You have a problem. God can help you with it, but if you don't take action on it in the world, then what?
Yeah.
Yeah, and God says that in the Bible with all his problems too. Like even with the laws, God tells you to follow his laws. He doesn't God doesn't tell you to listen to him by not following the laws of the world. He says follow the laws of the world. You know, so like it's all about that. You have to stay in line with everything.
That's one of my biggest passions. I know I don't share it a lot in the podcast, but one of my biggest passions is to share the importance of mental health to churches. Because I grew up around churches where that wasn't a big thing, and you could tell it because you would hear these things in these sermons. You would hear like, if you're sad, pray to God.
Religion's very likened to misogynistic culture. It's very similar to misogynistic culture. It's traditional. It's this way. It's set in stone. It's my way or highway, you know.
And that's why I tell people you shouldn't really
be religious, be spiritual.
I tell them you shouldn't really follow a religion. You should follow the creator of the religion.
100%.
You shouldn't really. You can eventually, but you need to focus on building a relationship with the person who created.
So you know what religion is, and I don't think it should ever be taken as a negative thing. Religion is the community. Religion is the community of people, and God tells you to find community. Find communion. And if you could find those people that are like-minded and similar, equally yoked, then absolutely do so. But the thing is, if that is your whole mindset is I just need to find a church just to go to church to be around these people, but I don't have to have my relationship with God, then you're doing it wrong. Yeah. You need to have, that's the most important part, is the relationship with God. The communion, the community helps you to keep that relationship.
Agreed.
Essentially, that's what it's supposed to.
But coming back to what you were saying, like I sadly I see it all the time. It's just frowned upon. Or worse. I went to, I don't want to say the name because I don't want to pull people's stuff out there, but I went to a large gathering, a conference, if you will, and one of the keynote speaker started sharing his ideas on mental health and whatnot. And the point where I had to quite literally, it was like the feeling of cringe, like my body enclosed itself because it was so uncomfortable to hear what this person was saying. This person said, no joke, if you are not happy, be happy. If you are sad, don't. Immediately. Granted, this is a room full of mental health advocates at this conference that I was at. Whole bunch of mental health people who go into the community and help people who are struggling with mental health circumstances. And this man straight up said, if you're sad, don't be. Think about happy things. Which, it's a fun sentiment. But when we're talking about mental health, it's an unsafe sentiment. Because how can you tell people to just be happy without giving them resources?
It's like a utopian ideology of like, right? It's obviously.
Like, oh, sorry. Yeah. Why didn't I think of that? I have depression. Sure, let me just smile more. Like, that's not a safe thing to teach people. And sadly, and I'm not trying to bash churches. I've grown up in churches my entire life. I'm still actively involved. But sadly, a lot of churches in our world have that mentality. Right? When I'm a firm believer that our Creator put people on this earth to help us deal with those things.
That's what I believe. Sure.
Like, why do we go to the doctor? Because God knew, like, people are going to get sick. So let me inspire some people to become doctors and help deal with health. Same thing, mental health.
The earth was designed the way it was designed for a reason.
Exactly.
You know? Like, everything was put in place the way God designed it to be. So, you know.
Exactly. So I wholeheartedly, and thank you so much for bringing up that point, because that is such a main problem that we see in our planet a lot. And it goes even beyond religion. Some people who aren't even religious have these beliefs. And I'm here thinking, like, especially those people who are uneducated, right? We hear it all the time, like, oh, I just got to be a man. My family taught me that men don't get sad, men don't cry. No. I saw my father cry recently. And it was one of the most cathartic experiences I think I've ever felt in my entire life. He was just talking to me about his emotions and how he was feeling. And it was, I kid you not, it brought us closer.
Yeah.
Like, it was one of the most beautiful things I've ever, and my father and I, we've always been close. But that moment, it was like night and day.
It's a very like messed up society now because, you know, being vulnerable, it does show you that level of trust and that level of love and that level of just respect you have for the person that you're being vulnerable to. So the fact that you can open up and you can cry should show that level of how close they are to you as that person. But like you're saying, it's such a negative scene nowadays where, you know, toughen up or whatever, where let's say if you were to cry in front of your best friend, it wouldn't not be received that well, you know, or you would think in like social media, yeah, versus like,
Absolutely,
but and you know, and I will keep the perspective of like, you know, I'm getting older, I'm almost 30 now, and like my friends and myself, where we have tougher conversations now about growing up and moving and different things, and now, you know, I've had different conversations, and you know, I've had experiences where I've cried with my friends. Like we had a wedding last year, and I hadn't seen my friend for a long time, and he had told me his mom died like 2 months ago, and I just didn't know because I hadn't been talking to him. And that was the lot. I don't cry off, bro. I broke out in tears like in the middle of the wedding. I was just bawling tears, bro. Like I had to have like 3 of my boys literally just wrap me up, walk me outside. But it brings you closer. It does. It really shows how much you care about those people around you, and it lets them know how much you care also. So like, I think it's extremely important. Like you said, it can be extremely cathartic, you know, to have that experience with someone that you really care about. But it's so frowned upon, and it's so looked down on in our society, especially for men, you know? So it is a thing, because the thing that's going to allow us as people to get closer and more, you know, intimate and more vulnerable with each other is we're stopping ourselves from doing it just off ego and misogynistic tendencies and just crap, you know? So it's dumb.
So I'm curious, coming back to your story here and talking about mental health, do you feel, I'm trying to think, how do I want to form this question? Looking at your life today and looking at the impact that you want to make in the future, what is that? What is your
good question? What
is your impact that you want to make now on? Because I'm not trying to tell you what to answer. I'm just gonna put the things in front of you, right? You have a large social media following. You have experience in foster care. You have experience working in the field of foster care, and now you're in this new job where you're working with people in the community who are in recovery, right? That's all the cards. So with all that information, and in there is a card of your past too, right? And your religious beliefs. With all those cards on the table, what do you think the future holds for you, Chloe?
What do you think your poker hand's looking like?
For me, hope. Most people don't have hope. Growing up in foster care, most people don't have hope. They think that they're just going to end up another statistic. And most likely they do, but it's because they have the mindset of, I'm not going anywhere anyway. My parents are coming back. My father's dead. What is there to live for? That type of mindset. Yeah. But once I tell people, even if you don't believe in God, if you don't believe in anything, you'll fall for anything.
100%.
Facts. 100%. I say that about basing your. So I say that same thing, but I say basing it. So I say, if you don't base yourself in God, then what are you basing yourself in? You're basing yourself in the world. And what is the world going to do? They're going to rip you down. They're going to tear you apart. Exactly. So you have to base yourself in something. And if it's not God for you, then find something that's going to be positive for you.
Right.
You know?
And that's the key word.
Yeah.
Positive.
Has to be, bro.
How can you base yourself in going out partying until 4 a.m. every night?
Exactly.
That's going to
Yeah. And then you have people that base themselves in religion or not religion, base themselves in politics or base themselves in certain things that aren't naturally, innately good. You know? So it causes you to be an innately bad person. You know? So it's just
I love that perspective. Hope, right? We talk about it all the time here. Hope is fundamental for recovery, just like personal responsibility. You guys know we've talked about it all the time. So hope is kind of is what I love that you said that word, because hope is really important. With all this experience, with all this hope, how do you want to impact the community that you help?
To basically reassure the community, like there is something bigger.
Yeah.
There's something bigger than just recovery. You can recover, you can heal fully though. You can heal fully in every aspect. It don't matter what background you come from, foster care, drug abuse, sexual abuse, anything, human trafficking, you can heal.
Yeah.
Seriously, I was literally, if you would have asked me at like 12 or 11, because I had a lot going on back then.
Yeah.
You know, I was suicidal. Got Baker active probably 18 times back then.
Wow.
I was literally in and out. They knew me by name. Like, it was really bad. If you would ask me back then, Chloe, are you going to clock into work? I'm like, clock into work? I'm not, what? I'm an entrepreneur. I don't clock into work. You know, I had this mindset of, I'm not even going to, I believe strongly at the age of 13 that I wouldn't make it to 18. I didn't think I would make it 18. So,
Like, that was something you firmly believed.
I strongly believe that.
And you're not the only one. There's somebody in my life who about 2 years ago, I asked them that question. No, I didn't ask them that question. We were talking and they brought that up. They literally said, oh, yeah, I don't think I'm going to live past 24. And I'm like,
And
What-
it might
what do
come
you
off as a
mean?
joke
Yeah.
or it might come off unserious, but it's truth behind every joke.
agreed.
Oh, absolutely.
Seriously.
Agreed.
And that's
true
what comes
about
back
every
to the cope thing too.
Yeah. I used to tell people
Coping,
like
yeah.
they're like, "What you gonna do for your birthday?" Baby, I'm not making it there. I'm not going to see my birthday. And I really, really, really wholeheartedly meant that. So if me looking at 13-year-old me versus now, I would never think I'll be advocating or working for foster care at all. I hated the idea of foster care. I hated safe place, just a whole. Because I tell people all the time, I'm really realistic with the people who I work with, especially the kids. I tell them, hey, you have to be on your, on your stuff. Foster care is a business. If you come out, somebody else is coming in.
Yep.
Take advantage of it as you can. It's a messed up situation. But realistically, they're waiting on your downfall. I'm sorry. Some people just don't want good for you in this world. It's either you do what you have to do or you're going to be a statistic. And sadly, one of the kids who I really favored, he became that on the streets, drug abuse. And there's nothing I can do about it, but I'm trying to help more and more and more people be aware of it. You are already a statistic. Once you're in foster care, you're labeled as a statistic. They think that you're going to be dead or in jail.
Yeah.
That's wild.
You know the statistic for college rates? Foster kids who graduate college is slim to like 3%.
And not to go too much into like, because we never really like to do it because we're all different races, but to go into color too, like
Yeah.
you are a black woman,
black
and that
woman.
makes it a
Lot harder.
lot harder on top of that statistic,
Yeah.
So, I do want to give that acknowledgement too, because I think it's important to acknowledge people's struggles and people's issues that they deal with more than someone like myself or someone like JC or someone like, Chris. It's important to acknowledge everybody's issues. I think, and I've said that too, if we all acknowledge everybody's crap, then the world would be a lot better place.
I agree.
I
agree.
It's a lot of people really, I think the world is a lot of people trying to make their stuff seem a lot bigger of a deal than the other person's or minimizing everybody's struggles and just putting theirs forward instead of looking at everyone.
It's like a race.
Exactly. It's literally a race to see who's struggling the most, who's working hardest, instead of everybody just working together.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
So,
but
how are you going to celebrate your birthday this year?
I don't know.
Turn up.
I'm gonna buy a car next week.
Oh,
Nice.
Buy a car next week, and I want to drive to North Carolina, Raleigh. Something's telling me that I should move there soon. Not too soon, like in the next year or so, but I definitely want to visit Raleigh, Atlanta, and Orlando. So definitely gonna do like a little road trip.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That sounds like some good vibes.
Well, I just want to give you your props and say thank you. Man, everything that you were saying, I was just like, it was hitting. It was an emotional home run, like every single thing, and it's truth. Like there's so many things going on in our world that we don't even pay mind to because we're so focused in here and the eye, And I love that you have kind of like now dedicated your life to using your experience to make an impact with other people. Like that's really really cool.
And she's doing that subconsciously and she's doing that on purpose and not on purpose, with TikTok content and with work, with work, she's actively pursuing that ability to help people. And then in TikTok, she's
just making people laugh.
Yeah. She tried to just do that for fun. And
Give
it
people
happens
happiness.
that she's reaching more people like that naturally.
Yeah.
So keep doing what you're doing, man. You're killing it. Obviously people are relating to you and your story, and they must see something really awesome in you and like a light in you that I see it too. And just keep growing, stay consistent. You know how that TikTok game is. Don't let someone you like the foster home. Don't let someone fill your spot in because you stopped, posting, But yeah, we got to wrap it up.
I am so thankful that you're here. I am thankful that you bring a new experience that we haven't had on this podcast.
Yeah, definitely.
It was really awesome to hear your story. Really, I mean it. And for all of you awesome people who just keep coming back and supporting us, thank you. We appreciate you guys coming back on YouTube to watch our stuff. If you're on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or anywhere else you get your podcast and you're listening, we see you and we love you and we thank you more than anything.
Yep.
Please support us however you can. If you can, literally, we don't ever ask for money. All we ask is for you to do something that's free. A like, a share, a comment, and a rating on the audio.
Yep, absolutely.
That's all we ask for. It's completely free, and it helps us find more people like Chloe to be able to talk about their stories and share their input. We've had a long line of episodes of really great stories because of the support that you guys keep giving us, because the podcast reaches more places and we can connect for more people. Half of the people that we get in here are people from other companies. They're like, oh yeah, I heard you guys have a podcast. Hey, you have a great story. You want to come on through? Sure, why not? And they just come because we're making such a great impact. And it's all because of you guys. So thank you so much for the support. The gala is coming up. The link for that is going to be in the description. We're celebrating 10 years of awesome work here at South Florida Wellness Network. Please support us however you can. Even by sharing the link, you're already giving us a lot of support with that. That's coming up. So please check it out. All the information is down in the description. We'll leave a link to all your socials and all that good stuff down in the description.
You want to shout out yourself really quick? Shout out to the name of your TikTok or anything?
Juicy Guac. I mean,
Hey,
come on, man.
Juicy Guac.
I ain't gonna lie, I just wanted to hear it.
Yeah, I like the name. I think it's such a funny name.
Juicy Guac?
Juicy
you
Guac.
know, like how people have
Like
certain
guacamole.
names. Yeah.
Okay,
Certain
okay.
people have names that like they're gonna blow up.
Yeah.
I literally just put Juicy Guac. Like, I
Yeah,
like guacamole.
and that's easy to remember. Like I can remember that anytime.
It's a
any
catchy
day.
name. It reminds me of like a rap name. Like,
Juicy
how
Guac.
rappers,
I'm
not
listening to
that
a
it
rapper
sounds like rap. It just, rappers come up with catchy names.
Yeah, dude.
Lil Baby.
That's
It's like,
true. Yeah, I can remember
why
that.
is his name Lil Baby? But it sounds catchy, you know?
true. It does sound
And it's the
catchy.
same thing with that. And I hear it, I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, that's
Juicy
dope.
Guac.
I'm about to name myself a PlayStation on that.
Hey, there you go.
Like, that, on PlayStation 2, you see some funny names.
Yeah,
You're
there's
like,
some weird names in
"Oh,
there."
That's hilarious.
Well, anyways, thank you. We love you. We care about you guys. Please stay well. And if you need support, go out and look for it.
Yep.
There's always help.
Shout out
There's
Juicy
always
Guac.
help. Shout out Juicy Guac. Shout out you guys. Bye. Bottle. No.
Those people make a lot of money.
Oh, that was a monster.
No, I don't want that. That's terrible. It's this man that goes live on TikTok every night. He like literally has like what is it called? Like a goldfish tank in the background, and he holds like this. What is this? What is that group we did? The aquarium. What is it? And he has it, and he just like waves it around. He's like, I am.
Are we recording? Please tell me we're recording. We're not? Oh, nice. This is my favorite ASMR sound. Are you ready?
And for whoever texted me early this morning talking about using the code Memorial Day for free DoorDash and me replying back in all caps Memorial Day.
Please. Where did you find that video?